CNN and MSNBC are forced to praise Trump's trillion-dollar trade deal. It's massive, undeniable, and a game changer. Donald Trump just signed the most lopsided trade deal in U.S. history. And the media, even CNN and MSNBC, are giving him credit. Zero tariffs for U.S. exports, $600 billion in new EU investments, $750 billion in energy purchases, and the EU, they got worked. Roll the tape.
Hurry up.
I remember along with probably most people, was saying at the beginning, oh, you know, by the 4th of July, somebody had to think how the country was, the economy was going to be tanked by then. And I was kind of like, well, that seems right to me, but that didn't happen. Now, it could happen tomorrow. I'm just saying that's reality. So let's work first from the reality of that, not from I just hate Donald Trump. Because that's boring and doesn't get us anywhere and leads you to dishonesty. Because the truth is, I don't know what his strategy is. But look, the stock market is at record highs. I know not everybody lives by the stock market, but I also drive around. I don't see a country in a depression at all. I see people out there just living their lives. And I would have thought, and I got to own it, that these tariffs were going to fucking sink this economy by this time, and they didn't. So, you know, how do we deal with that fact? Because that's the fact.
When Bill Maher is out here confessing he was wrong on a podcast with Brian Tyler Cohen of all people, you know the ice caps are melting. This is how deep Democrats are in denial. Trump keeps winning, and they're still stuck on Orange Man bad autopilot. Tariffs were supposed to be economic suicide, right? Meanwhile, inflation stayed low, jobs came back, and trade deficits started to vanish. And remember, they mocked Trump over even trying to renegotiate. And now the world's following his lead.
European Union is going to agree to purchase from the United States $750 billion worth of energy. $750 billion worth of energy. They are going to agree to invest into the United States $600 billion more than they're investing already. So they're investing a large amount of money. You know what that amount of money is. It's very substantial, but they're going to invest an additional $600 billion. They're agreeing to open up their countries to trade at zero tariff. So that's a very big factor. Opening up their countries, all of the countries will be opened up to trade with the United States at zero tariff. And they're agreeing to purchase a vast amount of military equipment.
Trump just flipped the global trade game upside down. Europe has to pay their fare to send us goods, but we get to flood their market for free. Tariff money is flooding into the U.S., and American producers just got a golden ticket into Europe, baby, with no barriers and no fees. This is why Europe's pissed and why U.S. factories are celebrating. It's simple. We finally stopped subsidizing their socialism.
Is this a fantastic deal then struck by Donald Trump and just terrible negotiation on the part of the EU? I mean, how do you...
I think that's an accurate assessment. To me, this is a humiliating capitulation on behalf of the EU, and it really calls into question this amazing negotiating strength, this leverage that the EU is supposed to exert as a superpower on world affairs. It really makes you wonder, what is it actually doing for its member states if the UK can on its own get a better deal than this giant economy? So I think it's a real failure on the part of the European Commission in negotiating here. And obviously it's better than not having any deal at all at 30% or something. But this is really a wasted opportunity, I think, for the EU and absolutely a victory on behalf of the Trump administration.
When CNN refers to something as a humiliating capitulation, you know it's real. They didn't even try to weasel out of this one. Trump didn't just win. He embarrassed them. He used America's leverage like a boss.
The Europeans did not want to have an escalating tariff war. People wanted predictability. But also for the Europeans, as important as the trade dimension is of the relationship, there's other dimensions, beginning with the security and obviously with the war against Russia in Ukraine. So it was very much in the European interest to somehow, some way, find a way to resolve the trade frictions. I expect there'll be some in Europe who'll say perhaps they ought to have pushed back harder, they gave up too much. But I think this was something of a bargain or a decision from their point of view to reflect their greater priorities.
MSNBC all but confessed Europe got worked. And why? Because Trump doesn't blink. They tried to hold out, but then they saw that 30% tariff deadline creeping up and they folded. This wasn't just a win, it was a negotiation clinic.
It was very difficult because we started far apart from each other. It was tough, fair, but it was tough. And therefore, rightly so, you saw the tension at the beginning. So we had to work hard to come to a common position, and till the very end, as always in negotiations, you don't know whether you'll find the landing point, the landing zone at the very end, or whether it crashes. So it was tough, but in the end, as we were successful, it's good and it's satisfactory.
They crashed all right into a $750 billion invoice. The EU walked into this tiptoeing on marble floors and walked out giving us everything we asked for. Trump used pressure and Trump used deadlines, and he delivered.
What are the U.S. concessions? What is the U.S. giving up in the deal, if anything?
So the starting point was an imbalance, a surplus on our side and a deficit on the U.S. side. And we wanted to rebalance the trade relation. And we wanted to do it in a way that trade goes on between the two of us across the Atlantic, because the two biggest economies should have a good trade flow between us. And I think we hit exactly the point we wanted to find. Rebalance, but enable trade on both sides, which means good jobs on both sides of the Atlantic, means prosperity on both sides of the Atlantic, and that was important for us.
The reporter straight up asked the head of the EU if we gave up anything, and her answer? Crickets. They're paying billions. They're losing market share, and Trump didn't budge. Tell me again how mean tweets were worse than this level of leadership.
This is better than it could have been. There was a 30% tariff threatened on August the 1st if a deal wasn't reached, but it is worse than what Britain achieved, which was a 10%, not a 15% tariff. So the European disaffection with this, whilst many share the relief that Ursula von der Leyen you showed expressing there, they also, from France and Germany in particular, expressed real frustration that there's going to be quite a big hit here to European GDP.
This is what winning looks like. The left can't handle it, and Europe can't deny it. Trump took decades of America-last trade policy and nuked it in 7 months. And now Europe's footing the bill for NATO, buying our energy and opening up their markets, while paying a 15% cover charge just to show up. The bottom line is Trump's America First strategy worked. While Democrats are out here chasing pronouns and policing speech, Trump's out here signing trillion-dollar deals, closing the border, and bringing back manufacturing. CNN and MSNBC didn't praise Trump because they wanted to. They did it because they had to. America First isn't just a slogan, it's a results machine. And the Democrats, they're still looking for the keys to the car that Trump's already halfway around the track in. It's reflection time, people. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Why do you think the media still tries to hide Trump's wins until they can't? Would any other politician, left or right, have gotten this deal done? And what's more dangerous to Democrats, Trump's policies or his results? Like this video? Then you already know what to do, people. Smash that like button, subscribe, and turn on those notifications so you don't miss our next story. Thanks again for your time, people. God bless.
Listen